This time on a UK Brewery Project, we're back up in Scotland with Cairngorm Brewery. The brewery was established in 2001 and is situated in the village of Aviemore within the Cairngorms National Park in the Highlands of Scotland. Well, that's what the website reads about the brewery's history, but it actually stretches back further than that, so let's delve in. The brewery was actually formed from the merger of Aviemore Brewery and Tomintoul Brewery. Let's start with Tomintoul Brewery. So Tomintoul Brewing Company, as they were called, the brewery was founded by Andrew Neame, and he started brewing in November 1993. The brewery was based in Tomintoul, which is a village 17 miles to the east of Aviemore, and they're actually based in an 18th century water mill, and the name of which I'm going to butcher, which was Arakirichan. I told you I'll butcher it. And they were known as being the highest altitude brewery in Britain at 350 metres, 1,160 feet above sea level. The brewery was officially opened by David Soul, an ex-Scotland rugby captain, in December 93. Their first two brews were Tomintoul Stag, which was dark bitter at 4.1%, and Tomintoul Cali, which is a golden ale at 3.6%. And it just so happens, this side of me, I have Stag from Cairngorm, which is a 4.1% bitter. So my understanding is this is the same beer that was originally one of the first beers from Tomintoul, and it's still produced by Cairngorms today. So let's crack open this beer of theirs and see what it's like. It's been nicely chilled, and I've been terrible with this bottle opener recently. Struggling to get a grip on anything. Smoke coming off there, lovely. Let's pour this in. Now, I've just realised my mistake. I have, again, used my nucleator glasses, and this is ale. So hopefully it's not a bad pour. Well, hey, just double checking I did open Stag. I know it's cold to touch, but you never know. I'll put that back on loosely for the moment. So there we go. It is a bitter. The head is going crazy due to the nucleated bottom, so it's going to be quite probably carbonated mouthfeel. I'm going to smells like old school bitter. I'm going to take a taste of this now. Mainly to get the head down of it with all that foam coming up. That is a nice roasted malt flavour on that one. That's quite a drinkable beer actually. That's not bad. Yeah, light roasted malt finish even says balanced by, yeah, light body. I agree with that very much. That is a nice bitter. So I understand with this brewery, the head brewer at the time was Tony Thompson. And from what I've read, and it sounds bizarre, but they were running on a 20-barrel brewing plant, which is huge for a small starting brewery. And I've seen detail to specify that was the case, but I'm not sure if that is actually accurate. Looking at records as well, at some stage, the brewery changed its names and became Tomintoul Ales Limited. And then I found an old newspaper article that stated that the company became insolvent and was wound up in March 96. Now this confused me a bit because surely they merged with Aviemore to create Aviemore. Can't remember which way to say it. To create Cairngorms. But from what I can work out, the brand, recipes and the intellectual rights were purchased by a new brewery in 1997, based a few miles west on an industrial estate. That brewery was Aviemore. So Aviemore was opened in 1996 by Martin Riley using money from his Hong Kong company, and the first beers were being sold in September 97. So Avamore continue to brew the Tom and Tall beers under the Tom and Tall Brewery name, whilst creating their own beers under the Avamore brand. I can't seem to work out if the brewery was split between the two sites, or, as I suspect, it all transferred to the Avamore Brewery, because I don't believe the building was part of the buyout that was made at that stage, merger. So it also doesn't seem that the 20 barrel brewing plant was part of that as well. So that was probably sold off by the banks to make money, the property and the brewing plant, and the bits that don't have much value to them, they sold off to another brewery. Using the now archived BeerMad site, I can see that during its time, Tom and Tall brewed at least 37 ales. Avamore has 40 beers listed, but around 12 of those appear to be Tom and Tall beers that they've then had listed under their name because they're brewing it. Right, take a little sip. So hopefully that's some of the confusion out of the ways now about how one brand became another brand, my understanding of it. One of Avamore's early beers was their Gold, or as it's sometimes called, Sheepshagger's Gold. I believe they sell one just called Gold, and then Sheepshagger's Gold was just a touristy one. And why not to that stage? I'm going to crack this one open. Oh, nice smoke as well on this one. Again, bad mistake with the glass choice, but I'll have to do a very careful pour at this stage to make sure that I'm not getting too much carbonation coming up there. All right, there we go. So once again, I've done the good old bitter and golden ale. Oh dear, not my favourite style of beer, as I've said many times, the golden ale. You can see it's much lighter than the other one, than the bitter. Not a clean glass fully, based on the fact that I've got some bubbles stuck to the edge there, but let's take a look from this side. Very, very clear. Not much on those at all, not much at all. It's golden ale. There you go. It's clean, it's easy, it's what percentage again? 4.5, which is not bad, not a sessionable one. I mean sessionable, I mean most of them say like sessionable at 4 or lower at that stage. Not bad actually, I do like it, but probably warmer weather, it may go down better. I do believe that, I say, Sheepshagger's Gold and what they just call Gold, I can't remember now, it will come back to me in a moment, are the same beer, just rebranded, yeah. In 2000, Tom and Tall Brewery and Avamore Brewery merged, yeah, merged. This is the official terms people are using as a way of simplifying the business. In 2001, the business was rebranded to Cairngorm. The reason for the name change was due to the fact that, or due to the announcement that the Cairngorm National Park was due to be created in 2003, as it was going to be stipulated as a big tourist attraction or big draw to the area. Made sense to realign their business with that branding. In 2001, the brewery was turning over 150,000 a year, and this increased by 2011 to 1.5 million pounds. This increase was helped by bottling and selling their beers to supermarkets across the UK. So they managed to move into the supermarket game. In 2004, they opened their online shop and were in the habit of releasing, seasonal specials. In 2012, the company undertook a £1.6 million expansion. The money was spent to improve the old building and upgrade to a 20-barrel brewing plant. Now, if that sounds familiar, that was the size that Tomintoul supposedly started with in 1993, and it took Cairngorm until 2012 before they upgraded to that size. So yeah, I do question that original size that was used in Tomintoul, and if it was correct, I do question that. Alongside the brewery upgrade, they built a shop and a visitor centre, but central to the plan was a bottling line. So the bottling line allowed them to scale up their brewing, along with offering contract bottling to other breweries in Scotland. So prior to this, any brewery that wanted to bottle up in, well, let's just say north of Perth, mainly even Scotland actually at that stage, would have had to send a tanker of beer down to England, unless they wished to, do small scale, where they do the handheld capping and all the rest at that stage, which is a slow process. Cairngorms themselves were sending their beer down in a tanker to Cheshire to be bottled. And with the bottling numbers at 500,000 a year, you can understand why they would want to install their own bottling line. Their new line could bottle 2,400 bottles per hour. So 330ml, 500ml, 2,400 of those an hour. At this stage then, the brewery were producing 3,240 litres, which is just over 4,000 pints a day. That is big numbers at that stage. For a Highland brewery, that's still big numbers anywhere, actually, in my eyes. In 2016, Cairngorm purchased the Loch Ness Brewing Company. And I believe it was similar to how Tomintoul was purchased. They purchased the rights and the recipes and intellectual property rights, in a sense, of the business, not the actual brewery itself. And they produced those beers, the Loch Ness brand beers, from their Cairngorm Brewery. In 2016, at that stage, the brewery had revenues of £2 million and employed 36 people. In 2017, they were selling beers to Australia, Germany, Norway and Switzerland, but were starting to expand and target Canada and Singapore. Revenue was now at 3.5 million and they employed 45 staff. I understand they also got involved in running pubs, including one that opened in March 2020, just before lockdown hit in Inverness, which is a bit of a shame. I've looked up and I think they still have it, and they're looking to obviously open. I didn't go to that one, unfortunately, when I was up in Inverness. Wasn't on my radar. So they seem to have survived through COVID, particularly due to their bottling line and having access to that supermarket supermarket model. I can't think of the words I want to say, and not being fully dependent on the pub trade at that stage. Right, so I think this sort of leads us through to their core beers. So I'll take a sip of that. So their core beers: Trade Winds IPA, which is a 4.3% wheat IPA, is one of the most popular beers of theirs. And I have had that. I didn't buy this because I actually had that on cask in September up there, and it was really nice. They do Black Gold, which is a 4.4% milk stout. They do Wildcat, which is a 5.1% Scottish ale. We've got the Sheepshaggers Gold, which is a 4.5% golden ale. They've also got the other name, which is it's Cairngorm Gold. That's the other name they've got for it, which is again, they were at 4.5%, and it looks to be exactly the same beer. And I said I read somewhere that this was just for tourist branding. What else? Yeah, we've got Nessie's Monster Mash, which is a 4.1% Scottish ale. Stag is one of their core ones at 4.1% as a bitter. And in Cali, a 3.8% pale, which, if you were paying attention and if you reached this far, was again one of the original beers that was brewed at Tomintoul alongside Stag. On the Loch Ness beer side, we might as well cover this, and I had Loch Ness beers before they became Cairngorms and since, and I haven't noticed any difference in taste at all. They have Darkness, which is a 4.4% stout, Hoppiness, which is a 5% American IPA, Lightness, which is a 3.8% pale ale. They've got Lockness, which is 5.1% Scottish ale, Sarsness, Sarsness, yeah, it's 4.5% lager using the Sars hop, and they've got Wilderness, which is a 3.9% bitter. So the Ness brand, you can understand where it goes. Chuck the word Ness at the end of something, there you go. I'm actually enjoying both of these beers. I know I'm drinking more of the gold at the moment, normally because I don't give them enough attention. It does have a sweetness to it, but maybe it's that higher ABV, you know, not a 3.8, 3.9 and 4.5, just a bit more body maybe to it. Don't know. Right, we've reached the stage to talk about awards. So let's just say in their current incarnation, they have a huge range of awards. So just cover some of the recent ones. Black Gold over here has won in 2018 silver overall in the CAMRA Champion Winter Beer of Britain. In 2017, it had actually won Champion Stout of Scotland at CAMRA, or CAMRA Scotland event, I think it is. Trade Winds, which I say don't have here, won gold 3 years on the trot for 2004, 2005, 2006 for Champion Specialty Beer of Britain. In 2019, Cairngorm also won gold for Stag at the SEBA Cask Bitter up to 4.4% category nationally. And at the same event, Black Gold won the champion bottle/can of the event. And I believe they're in a can, but they're competing against cans and bottle at that stage. They honestly have a 2-page PDF listing all of their awards from different competitions over the last 16 years on their website. And there's a lot of awards, but you do see the same names cropping up, same beer names cropping up again and again. But there we go. This has been Cairngorm Brewery. As I said, the website may say they're since 2001, but are they really? This goes back to 1993, this one. All right. This is all for the UK Brewery Project. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.